Good morning. So we're back. The markets have settled down a bit after yesterday. Sorry, no video again today. Zoom's being a bit of a nuisance. Okay, so we've got plenty to talk about today. Lots of good stuff setting up. Yesterday we had quite a few possible opportunities in the making. Today they've been made, almost. Hopefully we get some good stuff happening today. Lots of DDPs worked out from yesterday, which is nice to see, although not really many entries. Aussie CAD to start with. Aussie CAD. So we've got although we had this news-related big bearish candle here, it stopped on Friday, and then on yesterday, sorry, on what's today? Today's Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. Yeah, so Friday had the big news, and then Monday kind of settled down. Yesterday we got a nice break up, so we've got some long action happening mainly in the Aussie. In this case, the Aussie is very strong, so that's given us lots of Aussie pairs to keep an eye on. So the first thing to note, of course, is this news blip here. Shot off, up, and then straight back to where it came from. So that really was a news event, which was a non-event. Kind of ignore it, but still it's on the chart, so we've still got to kind of consider it to some extent. Makes it a bit yucky. So for Aussie CAD, we have had this reversal hinted at by this MACD divergence here on the 1 hour, and we've now broken through the 1 hour 50. Last night straight back to it again, but now we're hopefully going to break out, and ideally we'll see a new high. So we still have a confirmed trend change. We've got a higher high and a higher low. We want to see that continue. So high doesn't have to be this high, but just higher than this one. A close higher than this high here, and a pullback to the 1 hour 50 will give us an entry. So we just have to wait and see what it gives us, but that's the kind of thing we're looking for. And then we can play it up to these highs here, moving up to these highs here. So lots of potential there, depending on how it plays out. And lots of them are very similar. So this obviously will be an IBO, break and retest of the 1 hour 50. A stop down here lines up very closely with the pivots, daily pivots. Will pretty much smack on if it does actually go to this high. So you could also take this as a pip snatcher, maybe even a hyper trade if you get a 4 to 1 out of it up to here. Really close, and not quite, but close. So you could even get a 1 to 1 pip snatcher. But you are trading through the daily 20, which is this red line here. So if that's in your trading plan, not to trade through the daily 20 with a pip snatcher, then that's fine. Otherwise, we'll see if it does pull away and pull back nicely to our pivot fib 382 for an IBO or pip snatcher. So that's a bit long-winded because lots of them are quite similar. So I thought I'd go into that one in more detail, and then the rest will be very similar. Lots of them will be very similar. Aussie Swiss, again halting at the 1 hour 50. Looking like we're going to continue higher. Do we have a MACD divergence? No, we don't. So we could well be looking at higher prices up to these highs. On the 1 hour chart, we had that one news thing here. We've had a breakout of the 1 hour 50 yesterday, which collapsed back down again to the daily 50, which is this green line. And now hopefully get a breakout to a new high and a pullback. That could take another 6 8 hours or so. Could well be UK Open or a little bit beyond that when this sets up. You see lots of nice price action. Basically, price coming from here to here, back to 1 hour 50, catch up to 382, and then we can trade up here. So we can now, that'll be what it'll look like. Aussie Swiss then, another Aussie pair that looks like it might sell up. Aussie dollar, very similar, still at the daily 50, and we had a very bullish day yesterday. So we've got Aussie strength and we've got dollar weakness. Just quickly check, let's go back to here and just check the DXY. which is our dollar index. As you can see, very bullish for the last 3 days and then stalled at the daily 50 yesterday. So yeah, so that could well be on its way back down again. Right, so we're looking at Aussie dollar, aren't we? So Aussie dollar, again, the news thing here, don't like it, but hopefully get a new high before it pulls back. Give us a nice IBO, which means this fib may even go from the bottom. That might even be better, depending when it comes back. Lines up bloody pivot, it's pretty good. So we'll see how that lines up. Next one of the day. And Aussie dollar. Okay, good. CAD yen. The yen also. I'll reserve that comment. We'll see how we go. CAD yen. So CAD yen, the yen is showing some strength. So the yen pairs are looking like they're going short. Again, we had bullish up to daily 50 and this resistance level, and a bearish day yesterday, looking like we're going to get some bearish action to continue back down to the lows, perhaps. Do you have a MACD divergence here? We do have a MACD divergence. We can see from these 3 lows, we have higher lows on the MACD. We've already had a pullback to here. Maybe that's enough. We have to wait and see what this down leg gives us. So on the 1 hour chart, looking for a bearish day today. 1 hour chart, the 1 hour 50 has been broken. That's great. Now if it pulls back to the daily pivot or the 1 hour 50, we can go to these highs here. That looks probably a bit better if it pulls back soon, which is pretty close to doing. Next 2 or 3 hours, it could be pulling back. IBOC, because we've already tested the 4 hour 50. We'll be trading through it. Entry will be around here. Stop, very similar to a pip snatcher. And then these lows, you can either go for these lows here. There's obviously some kind of support level there. That's still 2%, or you can push it a bit further if you want to. Either way, that's a very nice looking setup. Swiss yen. Similar looking thing. Bullish up to the daily 50, and then bearish day yesterday, so it's been rejected. No MACD divergence on here, it seems. Yep, been lower lows. Good pullback, reloading. That could be heading back down to the lows. So Swiss yen on the 1 hour, breaking through the 1 hour 50, benefit the pullback. So the fib lines up very well. The 382 lines up with daily pivot. And so the stock's very similar, whether we take an IBO A, I believe, because it looks like we've got a 4 hour change of trend. Look at the 4 hour chart, click on the 4 hour. Oh, could slow down. Oh, it's not that obvious, is it? It's a bit. Entry, yeah, maybe it's an IBO B. It hasn't really given us a change of it hasn't given us a lower high on the 4 hour chart. So that'd be an IBOB. Right, okay, so putting back, and soon it'll hit this, and hopefully it'll spring low from here and go shooting down to its lows. A nice looking IBOB. I like the look of that one a lot. Good to see the yen pairs doing something decent. I've been flapping around for the last few days or week or so. So Euro Aussie, a very bearish day yesterday. Straight back to the daily 50 again. The important thing is this a strong level to warrant a rejection? Maybe if you use the wick. The wick, we've got these, yep, here and here, very strong level for rejections here and here and here. So we just about wicked it, pretty close, and then it rejected it. So that's looking very short for today. We've had a breakdown through the 1 hour 50 and the 4 hour 50. Needed to pull back, of course, for our strategies to work. Now, the way it is at the moment, if it pulls back now, we don't have any option with the top of the fib. has to be from this high. If it pulls back now, we could be going through the 4-hour 50, and this will be, is that a CBO? Yeah, that could be a CBO. Although I have to go through the 4-hour 50 to the 382 and the 1-hour 50, so maybe you're marginal, isn't it? Either way, CBO, this will probably be an IBO, which means you've got much wider stop. If it pulls back right now, but it'll probably take a little while, maybe a bit later today, and then we'll have a pull back to the 4-hour 50, the 1-hour 50 catching up. You'll need to break through that to trigger the 382 to test it, spring load, and fly back down short. So that is probably the most likely scenario, and which means we'll be entering around here somewhere. Treating as a CBO because the 1-hour 50, the 4-hour 50 very close, and we can take down to these lows here, or even a lot lower. Yeah, we can take it down to the lows. So there's plenty of options on there. See how it plays out, see how it sets up. Not perfect, but definitely it could be a nice looking trade. The DDP looks very good. Okay, Euro Swiss, again, we've got a good DDP. A couple of really bearish days, breaking through the daily 50. It correlates with a lot of Euro pairs that are showing Euro weakness. Euro Swiss on the 1-hour chart, quickly catches up. Right, here we go. So we've had a breakdown from the 1-hour 50 and the 4-hour 50, and it's just been kept on going down. So we're having some Euro weakness mixed up with a bit of Swiss franc strength. Best option here, I think, will be a pip snatcher. It's the only option is a pip snatcher. 1-hour 50's got a long way to catch up. That'll take a bit of time. We've got Euro Swiss. We've got plenty of time there till the UK opens, which will be another 8 hours. 6 hours, 7 hours. Plenty of time for the 1-hour 50 to catch up, maybe. Even testing the daily 50 to go short. That's possible. Euro yen. Another yen pair looking weak. The euro finding strength is, hang on. The euro is looking weak and the yen is looking strong. Yes. So we're getting some downward pressure today. Okay, like other yen pairs. So looking for that to continue today, a bit of bearish pressure. On the 1-hour chart, clean break through the 1-hour 50, hasn't really pulled back yet. A little blip on the 4-hour 50. Now the 382 does line up very well with a 4-hour 50 with a 1-hour 50 catching up next 3 or 4 hours. If that can come back up here strongly, daily pivots here as well. That could be a very nice looking CBO. Liking that one. So the yen pairs are looking quite some nice looking options on the yen pairs. Pound yen, very similar looking action, bearish, very strongly bearish day yesterday, and probably the best thing here will be a pip snatcher because the 4-hour 50 is quite a long way behind. Pip snatcher here, probably a little bit tighter, and that will give us. Okay, you get the idea. It's fluffing around. Come on. So pip snatcher short. 1-hour 50 is very close. That's looking very good for a quick pip snatcher. Although there are some better yen pairs, I think, if they sell up. Kiwi yen. It looks a bit messy, but the way I see it is rejection of this trend line. We then try to break out of the. Well, firstly breaking through the daily 50, which was retested here. Then breaking out of the daily 20, which kind of retests the daily 50 here. Tried to break out strongly at the daily 20, then came back and retested it, and now we're breaking out of the daily, away from the daily 20-50 zone. So that looks a bit messy. We've definitely got a downward bias. That's looking pretty good, and the yen pairs do agree with that. Looking for a bearish day today. And I think the best thing here is just a quick pip snatcher, 1-to-1. 1-hour 50 is not too far behind, which is good. And then we go quick 1-to-1 down here. That could be a nice little short trade. Again, pick the best pairs. In the yen, there's quite a good option. So Kiwi dollar, We saw this doji yesterday. I wasn't sure if it's definitely a wait one more day to see if it's going to be a continuation to the downside or a rejection and that's the upside. Still here again today. So it's looking like we are probably going to break high on it. Looking on the 1 hour chart, we've got a very strong MACD divergence on the lows here. In this double bottom. Really, really strong on higher lows on the MACD. So we're looking like we're going to break through here. We need to break through the 1 hour 50, pull back and retest it. I didn't do that very well, didn't I? So something like this, like many of the dollar pairs, and that could be a nice IBO long. And yeah, skipping on that one. Dollar CAD. Did I press dollar CAD? I did. The computer's hanging up on me. Please don't stop now. We're almost finished. Dollar CAD. And this trading view also tends to chew up a lot of memory. Dollar CAD. Stalling at the daily 50. Is there a level here? Daily 50 is an obvious place for it to reject. Rejection here. Not a lot is there, but need to go back in time to recheck the strength of that. But it looks like we're getting some bearish pressure yesterday. Hopefully continue today. But again, we need to see this breakdown below this news blip here before it pulls back, and that'll give us a nice IBO short later on today. So keep an eye on that one. See if it does set up. Dollar Swiss. Looking very similar, but a little bit better, in my opinion. We've got a rejection of the daily 50, very strong rejection yesterday. It's looking like it's going to go short today. And again, we need to see more downward pressure before it pulls back. And it's dollar Swiss, so we have another 7-8 hours before that sets up. Plenty of time to pull down here and pull back up later today. Very nice one. We won't go through the blue ones. It's got a big video today already. Dollar yen, another yen pair, looking like it's rejected the daily 50, bearish yesterday. Want that to continue today. And here we go. So we've broken away. The fib lines up well. If this does pull back now, then we can take that as an IBO short. Not a very pretty one, but hopefully it'll do a nice little gentle pullback. There are some probably better looking yen pairs out there, but the fib does line up well with the daily pivot as well. So we might even get a squeeze a pitch snatcher in there if you're a pitch snatcher person. Otherwise, take the IBO if it presents and trade through the 4-hour 50 down to these lows, and that would be a nice 3%er. So there we go. There's plenty of possibilities there today, looking quite exciting. Aussies looking good, yen's looking good, euros looking good, and the US dollar looking good as well for trade. So keep an eye on those. I wish you all the best of the markets. I'll catch up with you tomorrow. If you're not a member of ProTrader, just visit scottprotrader.com. Enter your email address. You get sent some free videos, great videos, over 3 hours of really good training. Learn one of the strategies there, and you can come and join us if you want to. And then these videos will probably make more sense to you. I wish you all the best of the markets. I will speak to you tomorrow. I will see you then. Take care. Bye-bye.